In 1999, a man sat down for dinner on a train in Japan. He wasn't hungry for food. He was hungry for dominance. He took a pen and drew a sketch on the back of a dirty envelope. It was an engine, but not just any engine. It had 18 cylinders. It was a monster that defied every law of thermodynamics. He handed that napkin to his head of engineering and said 3 words: "Build this car." When the engineer looked at the sketch, he turned pale. He told the boss, "Sir, this will melt. The tires will explode. The gearbox will shatter into 1,000 pieces." The boss didn't blink. He simply stared at him with eyes of blue ice and said, "If you can't do it, I'll find someone who can." That man was Ferdinand Piëch, and that napkin sketch became the Bugatti Veyron. He was the most feared man in the history of the automobile, a dictator who ruled Volkswagen with an iron fist. But here is the controversial truth. Without his tyranny, the car world today would be boring. He is the reason we have the Audi Quattro. He is the reason diesel engines became fast. He is the reason a Volkswagen Golf feels like a luxury tank. But the cost of his genius was billions of dollars burned and thousands of careers destroyed. Today, we aren't just looking at his life, we are dissecting his monsters. The machines that were built not out of passion, but out of pure fear. Buckle up. To understand Piëch's madness, we have to go back to 1977. At the time, Audi was a joke. It was a brand for grandpas and beige cardigans. Piëch was the new technical director, and he was bored. He wanted to destroy BMW and Mercedes, but he didn't have the budget. So, he went rogue. While testing a clumsy military Jeep called the Volkswagen Iltis in the snow, Piëch noticed something. This ugly, slow Jeep was outrunning fast sports cars on ice because it had 4-wheel drive. A light bulb went off. Piëch gathered a small team of engineers in secret, literally hiding from the Volkswagen board of directors. His order was insane. Put this Jeep's 4-wheel drive system into a turbocharged sports car. The engineers said it was impossible. 4-wheel drive systems were heavy, clunky, and meant for trucks. Putting one in a sports car would make it handle like a boat. Piëch didn't care. He forced them to invent a revolutionary hollow shaft system to save weight. The result was the Audi Quattro. When he finally revealed it to the Volkswagen bosses, he didn't use a PowerPoint presentation. He took them to a steep, snowy, grassy hill in Austria, a hill that was impossible to climb on foot. He put the car at the bottom, on summer tires, and drove straight up. The board was terrified. The car was a weapon. Because of Piëch's refusal to follow the rules, the Quattro didn't just win rallies, it changed the sport forever. He proved that impossible was just an opinion. But this was just a warm-up. He was about to do something even crazier. Most engineers are satisfied with standard engines. 4 cylinders, 6 cylinders, maybe 8. Piëch hated standard. He wanted Audi to have a sound that nobody else had. He forced the development of the 5-cylinder engine. It was unbalanced. It vibrated. It didn't make sense on paper. But the sound? It sounded like a war cry. It gave Audi its soul. But his most controversial move was with diesel. In the late 80s, diesel was for tractors and trucks. It was slow, loud, and dirty. Piëch looked at the inefficiency of gas engines and got angry. He demanded a diesel engine that had the throttle response of a sports car. This led to the legendary 1.9 TDI and the 2.5 TDI. He pushed the pressure in the injectors to dangerous levels. He forced the metal to endure stress that would crack a normal block. And then he took it too far. He decided to win the 24 Hours of Le Mans with a diesel. Everyone laughed. "You can't race a tractor," they said. The Audi R10 TDI didn't just win, it dominated. It was so quiet the drivers could hear the wind at 200 miles per hour. It was so efficient, it spent less time in the pits than the gasoline cars. Piëch stood in the pit lane, arms crossed, with zero emotion on his face. He had humiliated the entire racing world with a fuel made for trucks. But winning races wasn't enough. He wanted to build the perfect car. And this would become his billion-dollar mistake. In the late 90s, Piëch was now the CEO of Volkswagen, and he was angry. Mercedes-Benz had launched the A-Class, attacking Volkswagen's territory of small cars. Piëch took this personally. He decided to strike back. He would build a Volkswagen that would humiliate the Mercedes S-Class. This brings us to the most controversial car ever made, the Volkswagen Phaeton. Piëch didn't give the engineers a budget. He gave them a list of 10 commandments. Most of these demands were physically impossible. Demand number 1. The car had to be capable of driving at 300 kilometers per hour all day long, even though the car was electronically limited to 250. Demand number 2. The hood of the car could not vibrate, even by a millimeter, at top speed. Demand number 3. The craziest one. The climate control had to maintain a steady 22 degrees Celsius inside the cabin while driving at 186 miles per hour in 50-degree heat, without the passengers feeling a direct draft of air. The engineers cried. They quit. They told him physics didn't work that way. Piëch fired the ones who complained and pushed the rest. They had to invent entirely new air vents that hid behind wood panels. They created a W12 engine that was so compact it fit where a V8 should be. He even built a factory made entirely of glass in Dresden just to assemble it. The floors were Canadian maple wood. The workers wore white gloves. It was a cathedral for a car. The result? The Phaeton was, arguably, the best engineered sedan in history. It was better than the S-Class. It was better than a Bentley. But it was a Volkswagen. Nobody bought it. Volkswagen lost approximately $28,000 on every single Phaeton sold. It was a financial bloodbath. But Piëch didn't care about the money. He cared about sending a message: we can build anything.